everyone. Hey, this is Tank in the Mouth. I am Wes Tankersley right over there with the green screen behind him because this doesn't work out the way we want it to is Anthony Williams. What's up, my man?
Oh man, he used my government name. Everybody just knows me as the mouth. He's throwing me under the bus. Now we're
Oh,
gonna have
shit.
people are gonna be searching for me now.
They'll get the gist of it in a minute here because that mouth don't stop running. We all know that.
That's pretty true. Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. Hey, what's happening, man? This is going to be episode 1 of Tank in the Mouth, and I'm just excited to get this damn thing going.
Yeah, actually, it's been a lot of work in this for a lot of people who are looking. Sorry, we're just getting everything kind of situated because you're going to be seeing a ton more of this over the next couple months, right? So introductory, just kind of letting everybody knows, if you saw that intro that came in, we did start the Independent Entertainment Network. We have 7 different content creators, mixed between authors, content creators, right? All different types of people. That network is going to be ridiculous. We're already talking with sponsorships, which is a big to do. I know that people in the wrestling community, specifically with AEW and some high ups over there, are listening to kind of what's going on because they've been introduced to my personal podcast, the Independent Mouth. So when they kind of knew that like other things were coming up, they're like, all right, we want to hear it. So we're going to be having a lot of conversations. So for the people who, if this is the first time that you're listening, and I had a buddy, listen, here's the other thing, right? So when people say, where are you getting this from? So last night, I was playing 2K21 golf with my buddy that I went to college with, right back in 2000,
Yeah.
and he goes, "Hey man, I really love your podcast," right? And I'm like, "Bro, it's like 12 in the morning, right? Like I was up late, and it was like midnight." And so it was like 3 o'clock his time, right? And I'm like,
I
what the
was
hell are
in
you doing
bed
up,
for
man?
about 4 hours at that
Yeah,
point. So,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So I don't sleep much, as people know. Anyway, long story short, he's like, "Hey man, I love you and I love your podcast." And I'm like, "Thanks, dude." And still to this day, even with everything that we're doing, it's still awkward. When people and then they listen to your podcast and they say that they really like it, and he goes, "Keep fighting a good fight," right? If you've ever heard my podcast, you will know. So
Yeah,
anyway,
let's just take a little bit. Kind of tell someone,
yeah,
tell someone, because this is Tank in the Mouth, right? We know if you're
yeah, yeah.
listening to me, you know what my podcast is about. We'll talk about that a little bit to Anthony's audience, but
Mm-hmm.
Anthony has his own podcast, so kind of tell my audience what yours is a little bit about.
Yeah, so the Independent Mouth really is an independent view on current events, right? Whether it's news, entertainment, whatever it is. That is what my podcast is. I am an independent. There were times where I've gone Democratic or liberal to conservative, and I've always found that the sweet spot for me has always been in the middle. Because I if you ever have a conversation with me, it's very clear I just say things how they are. And it's always down the middle, right? So, and I love hearing people's opinions, right? I don't shut anybody up from their opinions. But for me, the Independent Mouth really it's a platform for people who are completely down the middle on things. And when topics come out, what I do is I give you like a week's worth of news in 30 minutes. So I consolidate all the stories, man. I hit them, boom, 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 boom. I give my takes on them, but the one things I'm always saying is that you need to go and you need to research,
Right.
form your own opinions. And if you want to come back at me with when you've actually done some research and you want to come back at me and say, hey, this is where I'm at, with this, then I'm more than happy to engage in a conversation with you. But I am educated,
Let
and
me let me get this straight though, because what you're saying right now, what
yeah,
I'm hearing is that CNN doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. Is that what you're saying? Do they
you
do their
know,
research? I mean, I feel like
you,
they don't, or
well,
any other news
eh,
outlet.
but before I throw the gasoline on that fire, because I know why you're doing that,
Yeah.
and I love you for it. Look, any network or job, right, that at that level that cannot amass a million viewers, you shouldn't be there in that time slot, right? Like at all. Like let's just call it how it is, right?
Right.
If you can't amass and they're unable to amass a million viewers. So with that being said, any business that lost 65% of their viewers or clientele in less than a 10-year period wouldn't still be in business, but they are,
Yeah.
right? So, I don't need to fan the flames. All I
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
to do is speak the facts, right? Like, so I love the fact that you brought that up, but no, look, I don't believe anybody, and this goes for everybody. And this is why I've totally loved and respected what you've done with shaping success, because you haven't talked out of your ass in that sense of, I have every motivational quote for you today, right? Like that
Right.
stuff gets old very quick. The do this and you're going to be this, that gets old really quick. And that's why I love the Shaping Success show. And that's why I loved being on it, because it wasn't about that. It was a
Yeah.
very organic way of really digging deep with individuals and finding at what point did they feel that they had success, right? Because people are successful that you never hear about, but
Yep.
you don't know how they get to those points, right? Like our buddy Jay, right? And different things. Like even for somebody like that, like look at Wise, that one of the people that we have on, he's got his own radio station.
Yep.
Look at SJ Child, Sarah, right? She's an author, and plus she's like ridiculously smart when it comes time to medical and autism and different things. We have Wendy on the network, and Wendy's an author. She's putting out another book. Plus, she actually has a brain, right, and does things outside. Like you wouldn't pick it because the way she handles the Juicy Pear podcast, right? Like, look at Brandy. Dude, Brandy's like so quiet, yet packs this huge punch. She's got Voices of Courage, which is not just for women, it's also for men. Like, these are the types of people. Jay Fanning, the Hard Parking podcast, where we're trying to work with, all these different people just in different spectrums out there because they all contributed. And just to be clear, man, I love me some Gary V, and I love me
Right.
these other, some other people. But like after a certain point, you're just like, stop, right? Like be, show me who you really are. Don't show me the marketing you, okay? And that's what I'm trying to get to. And once again, I'm not, throwing shots at anybody. It's just after a while you see that and it gets so tiresome. You just want unique and organic content from that creator, and that's what you and I decided we wanted to get from people.
Yeah, and that's what's awesome about that. Like my show, every single one of the artists that you've mentioned, with the exception of Brandy, I've had on my podcast because, I'm just getting to know Brandy, and I'm sure at some point we're gonna have her on here. We're gonna have her on my show.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes you do some interviews, but yours is mostly kind of just the news show. We have the
I got
capability.
tons of interviews. I got tons. I'm gonna rebuke you on that.
No,
I
no,
have
no.
tons of interviews.
Yeah.
I'm only messing with you. I have tons of interviews, but my show was not based around doing that. That was something that I added in, and your purpose in that, right? Like shaping success, and the purpose of shaping success was designed to help lift people up through that type of podcasting and that interview, methodology. So
Yeah.
you take it away, man. That's your realm.
The thing that's really cool about it is, like, again, it's mostly it's cool because I love sharing, because I was a teacher, right? And I love teaching people how to be successful in a way that, everyone has success, right? Everyone has that. It just depends on what they want and what they want in life, and that's success, because it's not about having money. Maybe it is to that person. Maybe it's about cars. Maybe it's about having a mansion. But really, to me, it's being happy in what you're doing, no matter what that be. And every single one of you guys that we've had on the network has been on my show because they all have an inspiring story where they're going after everything that they want. Sarah has a couple autistic children. She's overcoming that and doing all the things that she wants to do with her show. You've had some medical issues and you've been through a lot of shit, and your story is great. Wendy's an author who's got 2 sets of freaking twins. I mean, we both have kids, and I got one on the way. We know damn well how hard it is to raise kids. I couldn't even imagine being a mother.
I got
because they do a ton.
Dude, I got 2, and I feel like I want to have a pool party at the nearest bridge, right?
Yeah.
Like, imagine 2 sets of twins, for God's sakes.
Imagine taking care of two at one time. At one time, two newborns.
No, I'm still. Look, we'll definitely have fun with this, but I'll tell you now, like I've always viewed people that had twins, and I kind of think I firmly believe this. I don't care what you guys think. I believe in God, right? That's my spiritual piece,
Right.
in which I believe. So I don't care whether what you consider God. I don't. It's not my business. Like your business is your business. So it's a no judgment zone. But instead of me having to feel like I'm just going to politically correct myself every time I need to mention, the word God, I'm not going to do it. So good luck
Right.
with that because you're going to get tired, not me. Okay. Um, but I would always say like I think God gave them like because they can handle that,
Right.
right? Like that is something I'm not sure I would have I would have been able, right? Like and I've handled a lot of things, but two screaming newborns like
Yep.
at the same time, I my kids probably would have learned every bad word before the good ones, right? And because just the entire time of their existence, they just would have been hearing those instead. So I already have to curb my daughter and catch her with some of these little ones. She tries to sneak it in and she thinks it's funny. And how can you not laugh when they're like these little koala bears packed with firecrackers? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's what my kids are. That's how I view them as like these little fuzzy animals packed with gunpowder, right? Like that's both of my kids. That's how I view them. So,
That's a great way to
um,
put it.
you're right. that's how I view them. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's kind of same thing here. My daughter's she's gotten to the point where she's 8, but she talks. She'll be like, I'll say something to her, and she'll say something back, and she'll be like, that word that you just said, I'm not saying, but that's what I meant. It's kind of funny. Like she knows what it means, but she's not gonna say it, and she's like, I can't say that word, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, you can't. Good thing you
That's
recognize that.
funny. That is funny. Oh man, no, we're checking boxes today, man, for people on the first episode that's really rolling out. Look, we just total transparency. We have nothing against people that we were working with in this realm of things, like nothing at all. We cherish all those relationships, but reality of it is this: for the people who have heard about the tank in the mouth, we have a completely different vision in a specific way that we want this vision to come to fruition. And if it's not going to come to fruition in the sense in which we feel that is going to benefit everybody involved and this network, then we're not going to sign on to that. And so it's the main reason why Wes and I had decided to go in a different direction and handle things this way and create, as you can see here in the logos, you got Tank in the Mouth, you have the Independent Entertainment Network. I think both of them are absolutely gorgeous. By the way, that Independent Entertainment Network logo was some back and forth between Wes and I. And shout out to the designer, which will remain unnamed at this moment, but shout out to that designer taking some work that Wes and I had and really finding that sweet spot in the middle.
Taking
Give
our arguments back and forth about like this should be there, this shouldn't be there. I mean, there was a lot of work through it, and
Yeah.
I think that we have a really good. It's awesome. At some point, we're gonna find someone to make that intro look even cooler because we have some ideas with this logo that looks kind of like looks like a
That
barrel of a
intro
revolver.
is dope.
Yep, I do dig it.
That intro is dope.
Yep.
Absolutely dope, man. So what else is new, man? What's going on? What's cracking? What's let's get into some topics for people. Let's have some fun because like I said, we're gonna be cutting some video. So let's take everybody on the journey. Let them enjoy the Independent Entertainment Network. We'll do our shameless plugs as we go through. But let's hit on a couple things, man. We got something really important coming up. First and foremost, Veterans Day. Thank you, 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 and one more thank you for all the people who are veterans, who have been veterans, and thank you for allowing me to not have to do that. Okay, let me just say that. Thank you for saving my butt and allowing me to sit and watch UFC fights on the weekends, knowing that people aren't going to try to raid and overrun my house. So thank you so much. Thank you. We love you. Thank you.
Yeah, that is a big thing. This is my armed forces hat because that's why I kind of threw it on. And then I also, Tattooed and Successful is a sponsor of mine, and they have this awesome flag on there because I think that that's the thing. I think that we need to be, supporting our country, and these people who wear the camo, who support the red, white, and blue, have been out there fighting for our freedoms, and we have a lot of things to thank them for because quite frankly, I didn't want to when I was younger, and now I never could because I'm just so banged up it never
Mhm.
would happen. So, thank
I
you.
always wanted to, but the heart problems growing up and stuff definitely wouldn't allow for me to do so. Number one. Number two, now looking back, man, I really wish I did. But then on the other hand, I'm not going to say I was stupid, but I probably would have,
I could
you
see you as
know,
Drill Sergeant Williams. I could just see it.
I would, but like kids changed me on that. You know what I mean? Like, I got to be honest. I really wish I did at that point. I did. I like life would have been very different, right? And it was always something I really liked because here's why. I really love that structure. I know that sounds crazy, but growing up and playing hockey and kind of being in that, like,
Right.
I'm not good without structure. And I found that out more and more that I went like through life, right? I'm really not good without structure. So I'm trying now over these last, like, I want to say like the last year mostly, I really found that out. Like, it became very apparent. Falling asleep on the couch or like these things, like, it's not good and I don't like it. But I'm in such a bad habit, because constantly running and going, constantly running and going. But not having structure, I've just come to the grips. I've had that like come to Jesus moment where I can't do it anymore without structure, right? Like, I need things scheduled, and I'm still failing. Like today, right? Hey,
Hey,
let's record. Hey, buddy, my son's game got delayed, right? Like, so I'm
yeah.
texting you last night. Hey, dude, I messed up. Times aren't right. Hey, man, we're gonna record at 11. Not well, it's gonna be noon now. I'm not gonna be back. Like, and that's what I'm trying to get past because not having structure, it puts me in such a foul mood. And it took me forever to come to grips with it, but really does, man. Like, it if I'm late to something, I take that as if I'm not good. Like, it's really weird, and like, it's all coming back from the hockey days, right? Like,
Yep.
I crave that structure. Like, tell me what to do, like, make me do this, be here, right?
One of
Like,
the
or
big
something. Like,
yeah, one of the big things I don't think people understand is that like we do this, like I have my podcast, you have your podcast. We take care of those on our own. And then we're
mhm.
doing this one and we're building a network. And guess what? On top of that, we both have full-time jobs and kids and lives and family, and this is our dream. This is what we're doing. We're busting our ass
Yep.
to make this happen. And you cannot do it without structure. That's all there is to it. Like I can be better about it. When I started scheduling guests and shit, I started using Calendly, which has been a lifesaver because I just
Yeah.
send them a link.
Yeah.
They can pick a time. I got them scheduled, and I don't have to worry about it. And we were talking earlier with Sarah about SJ Childs, about helping us with the network a little bit, and we're talking about finding a time, and you got to schedule that time, and you got to make time to make it happen.
Yeah. By the way, kudos to the beard because it's looking super fresh. It looks tight. The lines look good. It's got a good length. Like, it's a really mine looks like the lazy beard compared to yours, right? Like, mine looks like I don't care about my life or my looks, and I just kind of woke up and went about the day. That's what my beard looks like, right? It's not groomed to that extent. Yours looks like you have implemented structure into your life where you actually took the time to care about the beard that's on your
It,
face. And I am striving to be at that place in my life is really what I'm getting at. I'm striving to be there, and I will get there. So,
you
but
just gotta. It's super annoying, man. It is. It's like my hair, right? It's a little ratty looking today, but
do
it
we
takes
really
time.
want to go? Because I mean, like, look, see, I am a matted mess. That is what I am, and that's what I found out right now. And it
Yeah, but
just doesn't.
most people are. I mean, that's not I don't know why. Like I've always been super like I feel like it's a problem. Like I'm super conscientious of the way that I look. I had to wear glasses when I was a kid. I had to wear braces until
Okay.
I was freaking 18. I had to wear braces in my senior damn pictures because my teeth were so screwed up. And I feel like I was always trying to make myself look normal, and it
Hmm.
was such a hard thing. And now it's kind of like, well, you know, my wife hates the beard, but I like to keep it clean. I trim it up. I didn't shave today, but it is lined up like you said.
Yeah,
It just takes work though, and it's whatever.
it does
But
take work, bro.
but in my mind, I can't not do it because I don't want to look stupid. And I talked to funny story. You know this story, but no one else does. But I got a chance. Jay, my buddy who's on the network too with this hard
Hmm.
parking. He was at NS Expo looking at the new Acura NSX. He's a big car buff, and he knows Adam Carolla. He's met him a couple times. He was actually on his podcast a couple weeks ago, and I listen to Adam every day. And Jay's like, "Hey, it's like 9 o'clock at night," and I knew where he was, and he's like, Are you awake? Where are you at?" And I'm like, "I'm in bed," because I get in bed at like 8:30, and my phone goes on do not disturb at 9.
Yep.
And I just happened to look at it. He's like, "Are you awake?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" Because I grabbed it and I knew what the hell was going on. And he FaceTimed me with Adam Carolla. And Adam, if you know Adam, he makes fun of everyone for being like whatever they do. Like the guy goes to the microwave and he hits 33 and start because it will save him a second from hitting 34 or 35, because he's hitting the same number
Yeah.
twice. This is how he is. He talks about going and getting a haircut, and he just tells him do this and that, and then he never combs his hair. He just gets out of the shower and just runs his fingers through his hair. He's got that Brillo pad hair though too, so
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you have
yeah.
curly hair, it's not that tough. But I'm sitting there, I'm like this, I had gotten in bed, and my hair was just kind of like this, and I was just listening to his book, and he was talking about guys who put shit in their hair, and he goes, "Look at that fucking pomade." Like he just said that. I just was laughing my ass off because I had just listened to him say that in his book. But it is, there's some guys who take care of that shit and there's some guys who don't. And it doesn't matter one way or another, but I can see his point of it by just, that's how much time you spent getting ready that you could spend doing something else. And the guy's a workaholic, so.
Look, you get to a certain point where you can kind of put it on autopilot, right?
Yeah.
Like, certain things that you do, like I've had it where, I get certain haircuts now because I really don't care about putting that much time and effort into it,
Right.
right? Like, unless I have to go somewhere or something, like I really don't. So now I'm past those points, that kind of stuff. I can get this done quickly, right? I cut my kid's hair.
Yeah.
I was trying to teach my kid how to line up my just my hair if need be and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And I'm a firm believer as I think kids need to learn how to do these things. I don't think I always learned how to do things when I was younger, as far as cutting my own hair or maintaining my own looks, because to be dependent upon somebody to do that, I always felt was irresponsible.
Yep.
Right? Like when I walk into you, I don't need you to tell me how I want to look. I want you to make me look the way I want to look, right? Like
Yeah.
and I maybe that's just partially always who I've been, and that's why I have some of these tough times when I hear, because I know the world's getting automated in that sense of you get so many different ways and people, right? That like do it like this person. That's what I was saying, like even in the beginning, right? Like all these people, you should live this way. You should do it this way.
Right.
My problem was that I didn't want to listen to myself, right? Like I didn't want to trust myself or listen to myself. And I actually had the answers and knew what I was talking about.
Right.
Right. But because somebody else, was on TV or somebody else was on a podcast, for whatever reason, man, I just felt like, oh, they have the answer. I diminished myself. But that's part of, if you've ever read my book, On Borrowed Time, The Reinvention of a Lost Soul, man, that's part of just a damaged past coming together and not correcting it. Right. And even like you're saying with people with success, and it doesn't mean that you have to have sexual assault or anything like that. You could have PTSD from bad business deals, right? Being screwed over, so many times of trying to work with people, right? I mean, like these are it doesn't always have to be this very gross thing, right? Like
Right.
for people, like it doesn't have to be that way. It could just be you're just a nice person and you have a bad picker. You know, you pick to be around people that are just clowns, right? And they don't respect you. And then the funny thing is that when you meet people even remotely close and somebody even just takes a second, if you just listen for that second and realize the uniqueness and realize the empathy and just how much that person truly is like saying something for your benefit, not theirs,
Right.
it's infectious, it's contagious, right? Like you're like, hey, wait a second, I like this. And so I think searching for answers all the time, and I get that we're human, right? Like I get all that. That's part of who we are. But I think you can overdo it. And I think people overdo it on a regular basis by always trying to get answers from somebody else instead of actually making the decision for themselves. And that's partially society and technology, right? Like, and I'm not trying to steamroll the conversation, but like game design degree, that's my background. I got the game, my degree's right there. Graduated, right? And I always say I'm just a stupid game designer and not an attorney, right? Because I don't have a law degree. But I open my mouth and speak about these things. And when you start automating and trying to automate the human process, which social media, marketing, regular media, like you said before, CNN, right? They try to automate the process and have you
Right.
think something is some way, and so you just go, oh, I believe them. But you're not doing any research. Your quest for knowledge as a human ends there because it's a news network that quote unquote believes, right? Like, and I've always felt this way. I just think you can overdo that quest for knowledge,
Yep.
and then really damage yourself. And I would have to say that I'm a person who's done that, right? Overdoing it to try and find out and really just overlooking what the answer actually is.
Overthinking
So
it.
I
mean,
Yeah.
it's exactly what you do. Like you do that, like something really cool today. So I don't know if I told you this. I'm sure you might have saw it. I posted on social media. I hit 10,000 downloads on the podcast today, and it is about the 2-year mark of when, whatever. It's about the 2-year mark of when I started. Now, if you look at some of these
I'm
podcasts,
not making funny. I was making the faces on the side since we're split screen. Go ahead.
I just want to say, you think about that, like, though, this is something that we're talking about. That's not very many, but it is a ton for me. And it took me 2 years to get there. And, I mean, there's some people who hit that on the first month, but it took me 3 months to get the first episode out because I overthought it way too much. I'm like, do I need a microphone? Do I need this? Do I need that? I'm encouraging you right now, if you're going to do it, just freaking do it. You can get $15 lapel mics that plug into your iPad, and you can just record it and put it on Anchor. Not that hard.
Oh, hold on. I have one right here.
See? There you go. That's all it takes.
It was $11.
Hey, you got a cute looking dongle there. Isn't that the weirdest
what?
word? Your dongle.
Did I have my pants down?
Yeah. So, did you know this? Maybe you don't know this. The little iPhone adapter cable that you have on the end of that's called a dongle.
Somebody was really mad at somebody when they made that up. And then they actually got that through. Like somebody fooled somebody. That's all I'm going to say. Could you imagine being in that meeting, right? Like just the smartest minds, right? Like I really think Apple's very smart. I followed Apple for a long time, and I think that they're starting to lose. But just off comment to add to yours real quick, I think they're starting to lose that race a little bit with Microsoft and other places because of content creators as a whole. Right? Apple really carved a niche and became this specific content creator, but people now look at it like, hey, I can access those same types of programs and pay like a third of what I would have to pay you, for something, and I can get this, right? So anyway, that's my off-topic rant. But somebody had to be very, like, the smartest minds. Like, could you imagine passing that? Like, imagine, me, I'm a person, I always take notes, right? Like, could you imagine having on here dongle? Like, in like, just underline, boom, right? Like, this is in your notes. This is it, fellas. Dongle is what we're going with. Like, we want everybody. Like, could you...
But you think about how like childish we're acting about this thing, because I think it's funny. Like we hear that word and we want to giggle, right? It's just like I'm having my knee replaced on Monday, right? And I went in there and I sat down in the chair and you got to have your mask on and they're giving you your pre-op stuff or whatever, your pre-surgical screening, get your blood pressure checked and EKG, all this stuff. They want to make sure that you're healthy enough to get cut open in their hospital. And she's asking my history, and I had my left knee scope in January, and she's like, so left knee, how's that? Blah, blah, blah.
Are they going to shave your dongle?
They're not touching my dongle. But anyway, she asked me about the, I'm just going to redirect you. They asked me about the left knee, and I was like, I had surgery on it? Because, like, I seriously had that thing scoped on Friday, went back to work on Monday. Now, she just, you can't see my facial expressions because I got a damn mask on. They don't know that I'm being sarcastic and I'm joking with them. And I had to explain, I'm kidding. It was really good. I did really good with it, And then they're like, have you been to a joint class? And I'm like, what the hell do I need to go to a joint class for? I mean, like, what kind of joint are we looking at?
Like, yeah, are we in? I thought you're in Idaho. Like,
I know. It's not legal.
I don't think it's not legal. It's legal here, to an extent, right? Like, I'm sure there's many of those classes here. I'm very sure in California.
So, unfortunately, I knew what a joint class was about, and I'm sure you do too, but they're talking about the knee joint. So I had to go and take a class on how I'm going to take care of my joint. But every time
the dongle has a joint.
Yeah. It looks like a little joint.
But here, let me just clarify real quick. The dongle joint. Okay, there is a dongle joint.
Will you quit dangling your dongle in front of everyone, please?
I was trying to dangle the dongle. Sorry.
So, I mean, that's just how we are. We're a little childish, but it's okay because we're having a good time. So, hey, here's what we're going to do. We're going to break this into 2 parts. This is, we want to keep them a half hour short. So this is going to be part 1 here. We're going to break this into 2 parts. We're going to go off. We're going to come back in a little bit here. If you're interested, we're going to have some stuff out for the Independent Entertainment Network. If you want to get your show on the network, DM us. We have an Instagram. We have a Facebook. It's at IEN on Instagram, and then you can go to the Independent Entertainment Network on Facebook. Also, Anthony, we got a email account too. You want to kind of tell us what that is because they can email us too.
Yeah, the Independent Entertainment Network at gmail.com. That easy. So, and if you're wondering why is it long and obnoxious, it is to stop all the spammers. So just to let you know, when you see it, we'll include them. Obviously on social media, it'll be in everywhere. The website. We're currently finishing up parts of the website, so it'll be there. All you have to do is click a button, right? Just sign up and kind of go from there. That's it. Like it is very simple. So. We will have all that stuff up for everybody, and so don't worry about it. If you need to contact us, you can DM us directly from the website. You can DM us directly from either one of our social medias. You can individually message us and ask us questions, and we will get that back to you immediately. So just whatever method, man, as we get things, we'll rein it in. We'll make it super... Yeah,
and we'll throw this stuff on the show notes too on the podcast, so you can see it on Facebook or YouTube because that's where it's going to go. We all have those platforms. We're pushing that stuff out. Check it out, find it, let us know. Make sure you're following us on that social media. We're going to come back with episode 2. We're going to talk a little bit about my surgery. We're going to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse. We may talk about Scottie Pippen's situation.
God, fuck Scottie Pippen.
So anyway, thanks for tuning in to episode 1 of Tank in the Mouth. Get ready for episode 2. We're going to get that thing cranked out. For Anthony Williams, this is Wes Tankersley. We'll see you next time on Tank in the Mouth.
Dongle.